Here we go, behind the game. The Coach Dino. Here with my man, Rashad Barksdale. What's
Yes,
happening?
sir. What's up, man?
Been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to take it all the way back.
Okay.
We're going to take it all the way back to when we first met. Lawrence Central, what year was that?
I think that was 2010. 2010. Yeah.
Yeah. You coaching the DBs, you came on board, you know. Actually, I can say this now. This is years past. You know, we had a coaches meeting prior to you getting there.
Uh-huh.
And head coach Jason West was, you know, he's got everybody in the room, all the coaches, and he's like, okay, we got an addition. We got a guy coming in. This is like week and a half, 2 weeks before.
Before the season?
No, before you actually got there.
Okay.
He was like, it might have been a week, but he was letting us know we got somebody coming. He's dealing with an injury. He's finishing up in the league. He's transitioning. So I felt some kind of way, really. I mean, because I'm like, all the attention really was on me because Drake Davis was the other DB coach.
Yeah.
And y'all personality is like identical.
Yeah.
Laid back. I mean, y'all really really good athletes, but laid back personality, calm, cool demeanor. And you know me, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. So I'm like, okay. And he's pumping you up. You know, he's a great athlete. He's a young guy, good looking dude. And I'm like, and at the time I was single. And I'm like, I mean, I don't even understand what all this guy is
Good football. Yeah.
So came in, you know, and I'm looking at you. You ride up in the range. You know.
Oh yeah, I did have it. Yeah.
You had the range over there. You ride up,
Had the range.
all the kids out there. Hey, who's that? You know, I'm like, really? Is this what it's gonna be? But you know, once I got to meet you, we hit it off right
For
off.
sure, yeah.
So, let's talk about your career. Like, go all the way back. You're from
Hudson, New York. Hudson, New York. Yep. Upstate New York.
Yeah. Okay. Did you play sports when you were young, and how old were you when you first started?
So when I think I was age 8 was my first year playing football. Papa wanted football, and that's kind of when things took off. Did football. I even did soccer for a year.
Really?
Did soccer for a year because there was that gap from like elementary, middle school to high school. There was no like football. We didn't have like a, what do you call it? It's JV modified.
Oh, okay.
We didn't have like a modified, so I had to play soccer, play basketball, baseball, and sports has always been part of it.
Any sport you could play.
Any sport I could play, I played. Other than tennis, then played tennis. Didn't do swimming. I even snowboard.
But you probably could.
I could swim. I could swim enough to survive. I could do that. I could do that.
Great ring.
Yeah. Snowboarded. I was in snowboarding, all that type of thing.
So you've always just loved sports. Now how many siblings do you have?
Siblings, I got 3 younger brothers. Okay. Yeah, I got 1 full brother and I got 2 half brothers.
Okay. Were they all in sports?
All of them were in sports. All of them were in sports, but it's kind of like, I would say this, that I was probably the best athlete out of the 4. And then my younger brother, Talib, and then we got Jordan and Zaire. Jordan was probably like 3rd, and Zaire was just kind of like finding his way where he played sports, so he was more like that, like the IT type person. Sports didn't really kind of like fit him, but he played and he adjusted. So yeah, we all played sports. Mom played sports. Dad played sports.
What did mom play?
My mom, she played basketball and track. And my dad was baseball and football.
So in your DNA, you guys didn't have a choice but to be athletic. I mean, it's just y'all just dripping with athletics. I mean, the Barksdale family is just everybody. I mean, we were sitting here talking before we started shooting. We talked about Drake Davis and his family.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like the same. Mm-hmm. It's like the same. Do your kids play?
Yeah, kids play. Well, our oldest, we have 3. The oldest, Camden, he plays basketball and football, and then the younger 2 are kind of right now they've tried sports, but they're kind of like you know, they won't get out there. They'll get out there, but they'll just stand there. They're at that stage where you got to bribe them with candy afterwards, and or even get out there and run with them.
Are they grass pickers?
Yes. No, they just stand there. They just stand there and look at you and cry. That's it. That was it.
Okay. So we meet 2008. You're coaching DBs. I'm coaching receivers. And actually, I thought we had really, really good chemistry. Mm-hmm. We kind of view coaching the same. We're very technical.
Absolutely.
And now there is a huge age gap between you and I. Mm-hmm. Now I'm not gonna go on record and say exactly how old I am, but I'm post 50.
Okay.
And I said I wasn't gonna say this before, but I'm gonna take you back to a practice at LC.
Okay. It would be interesting.
Because you remember that all the players, your DBs and my receivers, you know, they used to go at that's just
all
a
the
natural
time.
thing.
Yeah,
Every football team, DBs, your counterpart, y'all gonna get at it.
Yep.
So I think it was one of your DBs, I can't remember who it was, say, Coach Dino, you be talking trash all the time. I bet you Coach Barksdale will lock you down. You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
and I said, now, I got you about 20 years, at least 20 plus years. And just the ego in me said, bruh, Coach Barksdale played in the NFL. I said, I didn't play in the league. I had a couple tryouts. I played arena ball, but I ain't playing the league. But
it was probably Marcus or somebody.
I said, ain't nothing but opportunity there.
Yeah.
And I remember you said something like, hey, if that's what you want to do.
Nonchalant.
Real nonchalant. So now I put my foot in my mouth and I'm like, okay, how can I save face in this situation? So I think we did you covered me. Mm-hmm. We had three plays. Drake Christian was the quarterback.
Uh-huh.
And the best 2 out of 3 won.
Uh-huh.
What is your recollection?
It's been such a long time. I'm just trying to think now.
I know you done locked down a whole bunch of cats.
I was at that age and stage where, and I see it now that I'm older and I've seen it in coaches, but I don't think I was that bad. Like that coach that just finished playing, that's still trying to hang on, like trying to practice. So I was so I was still.
You describing me.
So I was still like at that age where I thought like, hey, I'm gonna get out there and practice, like show these guys how to do it. So even though I was coming off injury, I don't remember what happened. I probably jammed you up a couple times because you was always out there with sneakers on too. I remember. I had cleats. I told you I was bringing cleats.
Nah, see,
I was bringing cleats and shoulder pads at one point to practice.
Remember, I was the practice the scout QB.
QB, yeah.
That's right. I had a helmet.
Yeah.
Because I saw
you got that helmet.
Man,
yep.
Defensive guy. Mm-hmm. He got hit in the lip.
Yeah.
Playing scout.
Even though I remember.
Like, too good to be.
Even when we went to Warren, I think even when we went to Warren and coached, you and I was out there running routes 7-on-7. Like we always out there. And
it's just that's just the competitiveness.
Yeah.
Well, as I remember the first pass. You jammed me up pretty good. I didn't stack. You didn't let me get it. You kept me outside, and you cut me off my route. The second one, I gave you a slant and go, sluggo, and I got outside you, and I caught it going toward the sidelines.
Okay.
And then I think we agreed not to do it again.
Left it at that.
Yeah, because I hit the ground on that one. I was like,
I think I do remember you.
Trying to be real smooth with it. But those are some really we can't even do stuff like that in practice now.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a different time. But what do you miss about? Well, before we talk about that, talk about your journey from Hudson, New York, through high school and what that experience was like as far as sports.
Yeah. So growing up from Hudson, small town, not too many athletes would come out of it. Well, I won't say not too many athletes, but a lot of the athletes in that area just couldn't get the whole school thing down. Filled with great athletes, but always do community college and nothing after that. So I just remember Friday nights playing, going to the game at the age of, in fifth, sixth grade, guys looking humongous. That's back in the day where they had the neck rolls. Remember, everyone had the neck rolls and had the Thurman Thomas face mask.
Player receiver.
Yeah, everybody just looked huge. And there was one particular guy, his name was Leroy Collins. He actually I think he went to Louisville, and then out of free agency, he went to Jacksonville and then Washington. He was running back. He still to this day has the record at Hudson. And this is back in the early '90s. But I just remember watching him. I can't wait to do that. And Pop Warner. Actually, at the age of 10, I think I ran for over 1,000 yards. I still got the ball back home in New York. I ran over 1,000 yards. Toss left, toss right. That's all you need to do. That's it. So, going into sports, like I said, small town, JV. I played 1 year JV, 9th grade, and then in 10th grade, I was a starting running back in middle. I was a middle linebacker in 10th grade.
Okay.
Going into 11th grade, a good friend of mine named Darren Collins, Leroy Collins' younger brother. Okay. Him and I were the running backs. They call us like the dynamic duo. I was thunder, he was lightning. We was both big.
So you were more like a power runner.
Power runner, but could still get outside. I was more like his lead blocker type thing. Both of us was averaging over 10, 11 yards a carry. We was just, kind of running through it. So Friday nights in Hudson it's such a small town. It's kind of very similar to how some movies would be, where not everything would be shut down, but it was a lot of people would just go. That's where everybody was at on Friday nights. Where, like I said, the whole town was there, and it was just fun growing up. And then coming into our senior year, we went 10-0 all the way up until semi. We won sectionals, and actually I sprained my knee that game. I remember it like it was yesterday. Sprained my knee. We won, and we went and played this team called Peru up by Canada. Okay. Typically, you get teams, after sectionals is kind of like a neutral site. At least I thought it was. We go all the way up to Canada, almost by Canada. None of us has ever really been up there. We on the coach bus, feeling good. We get to the hotel. They got prom going on there, so everybody's... A lot of distractions. We get to the game, first drive. We drive down the field. We thought we had it. We ended up losing 28-0. I had 3 carries for 2 yards because my knee, I couldn't do anything. It was, like I said, it was probably the toughest loss because just walking off the field and even just going to, I remember all the details, going to take a shower. The water was cold. That made it worse. We go have dinner afterwards. Nobody was talking. It was the worst after. We're just sitting there. No one would have anything to say. So just overall though, like I said, it was a good experience growing up Hudson, playing sports, kind of being labeled as that guy, with sports, football and baseball, basketball. That wasn't my sport. I just played. I was just the defender. I was a trash talker. I was the guy picking up trash and all that stuff in your guy's face and that stuff. So, like you said, sports has always been a part of my life and always enjoyed it. Yeah.
So you played baseball. So you played football the entire time in your high school career?
Entire time, yeah.
Did you play baseball your entire time?
Yeah, played baseball my entire time as well, even up from, I know I said 8 years old I played football, but baseball as well. It was always, every year, baseball, Little League, Babe Ruth, travel, and then all the way up to high school. Yep.
So, and every multi-sport athlete is asked the same question. Which did you prefer? Which was your favorite sport, and which was your best sport, in your opinion?
Football is by far my best sport.
Okay.
By far, hands down. Preferred, I want to say preferred, but I had more fun playing baseball.
Really?
More fun playing baseball. Baseball is just more laid back. I mean, football is more like go, like, you know, serious, like
right.
smashing the other dude's face in type thing, where baseball is kind of like you're not batting, you're having fun in the dugout, playing games, doing this, like just that type of things. Baseball is a more challenging mentally sport, in my opinion. I think so. I mean, because you think about baseball, you go having that bat, you strike out, you may not get up for another hour. You think about that though. Now that's got to affect you in the field. You don't get a chance right away to make up. Whereas football, you can get beat, not give up a touchdown, but you still get an opportunity the next play to make up for it, and that will erase it. Or in baseball, it's you strike out or you drop a ball. You know, now you're in your head. It's mentally challenging. If you don't get out of your head in baseball, ask any baseball player. If you don't get out of your head, it's over.
I played baseball, and I do know what you're talking about. I faced a guy back in St. Louis named Lee Johnson. I think I want to say he got drafted by the Mets. This dude in high school was throwing 90 plus.
Oh wow!
And he wasn't a big guy. He used to wear his hat turned to
the side.
Right. He used to wear his hat turned to the side. He had a gold too. Yeah. And he was just cool.
Yeah.
And he get on the mound, man, and it was intimidating. And nobody likes to admit it. But he intimidated batters, throwing that high heavy stuff, get you off the plate, and then here come the hook.
Yeah.
You know, show you the fastball away. Then here comes the changeup.
Yeah.
You know, so he was ahead of his time, but I did not do well.
Yeah.
I faced him 2 years, and I don't know how many at bats. I don't even know if I put a ball in play. I don't know if I put a ball in play.
Those fastballs, I remember literally like kids that I grew up with that was throwing those heaters, and you like, that's intimidating. You like, oh, we playing who today? You're like, oh man.
Yeah.
Where like football, you can maybe get away with. You know, one of my old teammates used to tell me this when I played for the Giants, R.W. McQuarters. And I think I might have told you this. He said, you see a big, like, because Brandon Jacobs, big dude, and he would run full speed at you at practice because that's just how he runs. Right. He said, you see somebody like that in the game, he said, head down and eyes closed. Put your head down and close your eyes. With the football, you can kind of get away with.
Right.
With baseball, it's, like, I say now, just watching, like, I'll go to a baseball game or even just step on a baseball field. I'll step in the batter's box, and just that mound looks so much closer than it did when I was playing. I can't even imagine that ball coming like 90 plus. Yeah. And even I used to get hit so many times and just take it. I'm not even trying to do that anymore.
So baseball, football, where does the thought of, okay, can I play either one or both of these in at the next level in college? How did that process
go? Really? So out of high school, I was supposed to get drafted for baseball.
Okay. What position?
Outfield.
Okay.
Outfield. I did several tryouts for the Kansas City Royals.
Okay.
Kansas City Royals. And at that point, I think if you tell any high school player, hey, you can make it drafted, I'm going to stick with that when it comes to baseball. Even though not knowing really how long the process could be. But once I heard, hey, we could potentially draft you, I was like, I'm going to stick with baseball. And true story, I did not want to play football anymore because I hate the cold, literally cannot stand the cold. And I just remember practicing in the cold, fingers getting hit. I'm like, I'm done with this. And then, joke on me, I stay close to home, upstate New York, to play baseball. So I'm standing out in the cold, playing baseball, hands freezing and everything. But
that stinks with a bat.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
You get it wrong, yeah. So I went to Hudson Valley Community College to play baseball, and this quick story, kind of how everything transitioned. I used to work, what was it called, like student study, or like kind of where I would work in the equipment room, or
like GA.
Yeah, something like that. And I would work the football games, the chain gang. Okay. I would work there. I actually got a picture of me sitting there. I got the tribal necklace on. I got my sweatshirt tied around my waist, and holding the chains. And I had a lot of football friends in my classes, and I told them I could play football. Oh no, you can't. You can't play. Blah blah blah. You a baseball player? I'm like, I could play if I wanted to. I just don't want to. So I ended up going to one morning practice, and then once again I was like, I don't feel like getting up early. I was just kind of done with the whole getting up and working out. Because we don't really do that in baseball.
Right.
So I ended up going to Albany, transferred for baseball, played my 2 years, still supposed to get drafted, this time by Cincinnati Reds. He was getting looked at pretty good. Until my senior year, I just kind of, I had a bad senior year, mediocre, wasn't very consistent, and nothing happened. Nothing happened in regards to baseball, and I would drive back and forth, because I stayed on campus, drive back and forth to go to batting cages with some friends and football practice, and I would see football. I kind of want to play, and I had some friends once again question me, hey, you can't play football, this and that. I'm like, I could, I really can if I wanted to, and they
didn't know anything about your high school experience.
Nothing at all. So I actually brought the VHS tape, brought it back up, put it in. And we watched it, and they're like, all right, you may be able to play. I'm like, I told you I could play. So you should try out. He's like, and I got a good, Dave West is his name, baseball teammate. He's like, he would always challenge me. He'd say, you won't try out. I bet you won't try out. I'm like, okay. I was like, so driving back and forth, I would call the Coach Ford, and be like, it would ring a couple times. I'll hang up. I'm like, I don't know like how to go about this. Finally left him a message, and he called me back, and he recruited me out of high school for football.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So finally got to speaking with him, and I said, hey, I want to come try out for the team. I said, I want to be running back, because that was my spot. And he said, well, we already got 2 senior running backs. We got a couple incoming freshmen that we like. Come out, we'll put you at DB. Got to practice, and I knew, like I said, I knew the game. It was just something natural. So I believe I started 5th on the depth chart at right corner, and I had everyone else below me trying to coach me up, trying to teach me, hey, you should do it like this. And me being me, I took their advice. I wasn't kind of shove them to the side, although I knew that I knew more than them. So I would just continue to work, and ever since after the first game of the year, I started for the team at the right corner and started the whole season after that. So it was really just part of me wanting to be, as we talked about earlier, a part of a team. Because my whole life I've always been pretty much a student athlete, not just a student. Right. And those are 2 totally different, worlds. Yeah. Just being a student. Because, I'll be honest, we student athletes, we did our share of partying and going out, but we always knew we had something else to do in the morning.
Right.
If I was just a student and just going, if I was just a student going out, forget about it.
Stay
class
out later. Do
probably not even go to class.
I'm not getting up.
Yeah, I don't have to require a certain GPA to continue to play. So, it would have probably been.
That's a good point.
Been bad news for sure.
That's a good point. So, you go through your college career. I assume you're doing pretty well at Albany. Mm-hmm. And at what point do you start to think about the possibility of playing either sport at the next level, professionally?
Well, I knew once I started playing football, baseball was done and over with. I fell out of love with the game for baseball. Just passion and all that stuff was just gone, because at that point, I didn't get drafted. I tried to do independent ball, and they were telling me things like, we like you, but we don't have room. So it's just kind of like, that's kind of why I went to football. And it didn't click with me for football until we played Delaware. And at that time, Delaware had a quarterback by the name of Joe Flacco. Really? So we played at Delaware, and biggest crowd I've ever played in college or even in high school. There was about 25,000. I mean, we pulled up in the bus. They're banging on our bus. It's like a movie, banging on our bus, cussing us out and all that stuff. Walking into the field, they got, they got it blocked off. The fans are right here. They're screaming at you walking onto the field. And, I picked Joe Flacco off one time before half, picked him up. It was like a tip pass. And we were winning, I believe it was 7-0. And I said, we weren't supposed to win. This was a game we were supposed to get blown out. I remember walking back into the locker room, and they were screaming, "You guys are not supposed to be beating us. This ain't supposed to be happening." Like, they was like pissed. They score. It went back and forth, and this is kind of like my life story about just one more play, one more rep. Like, don't give up, because they kept running. They were driving to win the game. They were driving, and they kept backside screens. So I'm on the right side. I'm running pursuit, like sprinting. Mm-hmm. They ran it at least in that drive about four times. Like, I'm talking about, I was blown. Like, I was ready to do this. Like, I was so tired, but I told myself, I'm a senior. This is a big game. There's no reason I should be coming out. So right before I told myself that play, well, the next play, they ended up running a post corner into the end zone, and I picked it off. And for some apparent reason, I tried to run it out to like the 1 yard line instead of just sitting down. But we ended the game. We ended up winning. So at the time, this was back in 2006 season, because I graduated in 2007. So that was the biggest win in the program's history. And then after that, scouts started coming in. So scouts were there, but not because of me, because I had two teammates who were getting looked at. Mm-hmm. And that's, like, so you never know who's watching.
They happen so much.
Yeah.
Where scouts come to see one player or a couple players, and then
somebody just shows up.
It's like yours. People just like, hey, this is my last hurrah. I'm a senior. I'm not gonna give up. If you tap out, come out of the game, you don't get the pick. Maybe they score a touchdown. The guy that comes in, takes your spot, and then it's a different ball game. And who knows if the scout? I mean, that's really, really important, because I think when we as coaches try to tell players, we speak from a player standpoint. I was there. Mm-hmm. If you built for it, you're gonna be tired. But if you got to learn how to dig deep. That's part of discipline, and part of your DNA. Sometimes you can fabricate and change your DNA, mm-hmm. or at least access something that you didn't even know was there, just by letting the mind, not. It's easy to say, I'm tired.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's sort of like you did when you first started out. You're like, I don't want to go through all that. And then something mm-hmm. recharged you, and your mind was starting to guide things then. And then so you got scouts coming along. Mm-hmm. Walk us through the process from that point on. Yeah. Like you're gonna get drafted, and what's dad, moms, mm-hmm. what is everybody saying, what the coach is saying?
It was surreal, honestly, man, because like I said, it's just something that you dreamed of, like, as a kid, and And part of the reason why I didn't play football, because not only because of COVID, because upstate New York football at that time wasn't really known. So no one's going to come scout me or do anything like that. So I kind of self-talked myself out of it, like not to play because there's no shot. But yeah, once teams started coming in, getting phone calls from coaches, hey, such and such team, like Patriots are here, they want to talk to you. I would come after class or even probably skip class and go talk to them. And it was just surreal because I remember going out to eat with like the San Francisco 49ers scout and, talking about just their defense and how the process works and all that stuff. And it really just started hitting me when, like I said, I've always been in contact with every team, all the teams in NFL. And one thing that I took pride in was I was never really a student. Like, school was never like my thing. Like, I got by, I got by, and I knew I had six, we didn't call it courses or not courses, hours left for, I don't even remember what it's called. But I told myself, I got to finish school now. Like, because if I get drafted or even just go play football, it's going to be very difficult for me to come back and do it. So the process was, my training process was every Wednesday, my agents at the time, I would fly to Atlanta. From Wednesday, I believe, till Saturday or Sunday I would come back. I would train in Atlanta and do my schoolwork. And so I'm flying back and forth, taking 6 classes at the time as well in order to graduate. So it was a time to kind of like reflect and really enjoy it, the joy of the process, but it was also a grind because I had to still focus on school at that time. So a funny quick story about that is after I ended up getting drafted by the Eagles, I still went to school and went to class, and I was sitting in class. So Albany has lecture halls and it also has smaller classrooms, like just maybe 10 to 15 people in a class. So I'm sitting in class and this one guy is like, man, you guys see some dude from Albany got drafted by the Eagles. And so my professor and I had a pretty good relationship, so he was into sports, so he knew that I got drafted. And
so you were low key with everything.
But no, I was like, yeah, that was me. He goes, dude, what the F you still doing here? I was like, I gotta finish school, man. I gotta finish school. So that was a funny story because they, like you said, some people don't understand. They just expect once you get drafted, it's boom, like you quit and cut off everything. Well, that wasn't like that.